What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a great day. My name's Anthony, and today we are going to talk about FOMO. All right, now, if you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about the gambler's fallacy and how it can affect your decision-making process. Well, this week we're going to talk about FOMO because we're going to continue that conversation about human behavior because I think it's actually very apropos to the whole prepping community, preparedness community, in ways that you may not anticipate. All right, so what exactly is FOMO? Fear of missing out. That's it. Now, you're usually going to see this in the financial circles because they're most likely going to be talking about the stock market. However, this can be used throughout the entire preparedness community, and I'm going to tell you why. Like I said, you're usually going to see the term FOMO thrown around the financial circuit. Now, I know a lot of people in this community are not actual investors in the stock market, so I will briefly hit on that point, but I'm going to explain where it actually shows up in other sectors that I guarantee you you're a part of. Now, in the traditional sense, you're going to see FOMO show itself in the stock market. People are going to start chasing stocks. Whatever they see is doing really well for the month, they're going to go ahead and jump in at the peak. And that's why it's called FOMO, because it's fear of missing out on something good. Now, there are two of the greatest motivators in humankind, and that's going to be fear and greed. Well, guess what FOMO is? It's a combination of both. You're greedy and you're afraid that you're going to miss out on that money-making opportunity. So people are going to jump in the stock market when they really shouldn't because the price to earnings or valuation might be a little high. There's no reason why this company should be evaluated the way it is. And people are going to jump in because they're afraid of missing out on all the gains. All right, so usually where you're going to see FOMO really show its ugly face in the preparedness community is when we talk about precious metals. And unfortunately, there's been people out there who have been taking advantage of people just getting into the community by mentioning silver and gold the way they are doing. Now let me explain. FOMO, fear of missing out, shows its ugly face because you start buying at these peaks. Now, back in March 2020, we saw the price of silver and gold relatively steady, but it was climbing. Fast forward to now, September, we've seen that the price of gold has hit an all-time high, and the price of silver has almost doubled this year. Well, there are people out there who have been rushing to buy as much silver and gold as they can. The suppliers are out. They're very limited, and they have to rush these orders. Well, what do you think happens with supply and demand? That's going to make that price go up. However, they can't manipulate the price of silver per ounce like they want to. So what have they been doing? They've been adding premiums on top of that. So basically, when you buy like an American Silver Eagle, it doesn't just cost the silver value, it costs the process of minting and shipping and all that stuff. Well, they're adding like $10 premiums to these. So if you're buying silver at, say, $28 an ounce with a $10 premium, you're essentially paying $38 an ounce for silver. Now, it doesn't take a detective to know that you're buying very, very, very high because of FOMO. The reason why FOMO is so scary is because it's fear and greed, the two biggest motivators of humankind. So you're afraid you're going to be missing out, and you're greedy. So there's people out there making all kinds of money off of you because you're panicking, which is essentially what FOMO is, a panic. The best way to tell that this is happening is taking a step back and just looking at the past performance. Now, I got a graph of gold from the last 10 years, and you're going to see certain spikes that happened every 4 years or so, obviously around the presidential election. And I want you to pay attention to those when I show you this graph to see exactly where the spikes are and why it happened. See that? 2012, 2016, 2020. Now, do they correlate to the presidential election directly? You tell me. What I can tell you is every time a new president's about to be elected, there's always some sort of turmoil. There's always something going like, hey, they're going to change this to the point where you get taxed more, or this is going to happen and you're going to lose whatever you got in saving. I don't know, insert problem here. But it basically makes people scared. They panic sell, and they FOMO into things like cryptocurrency, gold, whatever, other assets to get out of cash, just to make sure they're hedging themselves just in case something happens to cash. Now, if you know anything about me, I absolutely am not a fan of cash. I'm afraid of fiat currency because there's nothing backing it. So I highly encourage you to jump in as many assets as you possibly can. But I don't think that you need to be buying at peaks either. So you need to, what I'm saying is you basically need to be proactive here and see that these things are coming. So every 4 years, you see something's going to be on the horizon that's going to make the price of precious metals skyrocket, right? Happened in 09, happened in 12, happened in 16, now 20. As making all these prices increase, why would you be buying at 12, 16, and 20? Why wouldn't you be buying at 14 or 18 when these prices are low? That's the principle I'm trying to pass through this video. You need to understand what FOMO is and you need to make sure that you're pricing in that fear of missing out and be like, you know what? I don't need to buy this right now. The price is going to come back down. I can get this later. Or I got this 2 years ago. I don't have to worry. Briefly, another example is going to be cryptocurrency. There's people who absolutely love cryptocurrency because it's not fiat, it's not government controlled. But look what happened in 2017 with cryptocurrency. There's a humongous run up, and I'm going to show you a graph of a huge spike in 2017, and I want you to tell me A or B, which one was FOMO. That's right, it was B, because it was at the peak. If you were buying at the peak, congratulations, you're still bag holding today. You are not making your money back. You are in the hole still 3 years later. All right, now to everybody's favorite topic. I've talked about this. I know several other channels have talked about this, and it's probably going to get me hate. There's probably a lot of people that don't like when I tell them this, but you know what? I got graphs to prove my point. You're buying ammo now. You're recommending buying ammo now. Why? If you'd be proactive in preparing, you would have known that you need to prepare ammunition for times like this. There are people out there who are telling people, buy as much ammo as you can right now, you have to. Have you seen the price of 9mm right now? Why in Zeus's butthole would you go and buy 9mm for 70 cents a round when it should be like 10 cents a round? You're literally paying almost 6 times the price for 9mm. Why? Supply and demand. The panic set in. Everybody's afraid they're going to miss out. They're not going to make any more ammunition. Something's going to happen to where ammunition's not going to be made anymore. Really? Really? Out of all the people that use ammunition, police, security, they're going to stop being able to afford ammunition? I don't think so. This panic's going to subside. You're going to be able to buy your ammunition next year, 2 years from now, whatever. Just make sure you're sitting on a good amount now. Which is why if you were prepared from the get-go, you had all this stuff stashed away, and you don't have to worry about it. Look at the price of ammunition the last 10 years. Do you see the trend? Every time there's an election, ammo prices spike for some weird reason. And we are always being told that our gun rights are threatened. Is it going to happen this time? Who knows? But if you know it's going to happen, if it's happened the last two elections, what makes you think this one's any different? Of course it was going to happen. That's why you need to make sure you stash stuff away. Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely suggest if you are one of those people that like to keep your skills sharp, sure, go out and buy a box of ammo, go buy 2 boxes of ammo, go make sure you got your skills set. And, you know, obviously shooting is a perishable skill, so you're going to want to do some practice. But don't be going out there buying up your entire spare bedroom worth of ammunition now. That's a way to waste your money. Because guess what's going to happen probably next year? The prices are going to come back down. And when those prices come back down, you're going to be sitting there kicking yourself if you spent 20 grand on ammunition and be like, wow, I could have had 3 times as much if I would have just waited. So you see what I mean? If we can see from past experience, from the last 10 years, last 20 years, when the spikes seem to happen, then we should have probably been able to plan that 2020 was going to be an issue with ammunition, because there's always something new. Granted, we might not have known about the pandemic, but we should at least known something was going to happen that was going to cause some sort of spike in ammunition. That's why 2 years ago I was talking about stashing away as much ammunition as he could. For this reason. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, you got to understand what FOMO is, fear of missing out, and when you're being drawn into it. And I really don't want to see people bankrupting themselves or spending all their money, which they could use to buy other things, on buying things that are inflated or priced way high because of people running to it in a panic. So if you can think about things proactively and buy when they're low, do it. Don't be a sucker and buy things when they're at sky high prices. Then you'll be left bag holding, and no one wants to be bag holding. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. If you like what I had to say, if you appreciate anything that I said, give me a thumbs up. It really does help me out. If you do not agree, if you disagree, tell me why down below. Don't just leave a thumbs down. I want to know why. We can have a civil discussion about things. I'm sure that you've all FOMO'd. I know I've FOMO'd a few times. So hopefully we can take this video as a learning lesson and maybe identify, hey, we need to not buy this right now. That's why we stash things whenever the prices are low. Remember, Noah didn't start building the ark when it was raining, right? But with that being said, please do me a huge favor. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And I'll catch y'all on the next one, okay?